Hello, everyone. This is Carly Stein, and I am here live with Mythica Von Griffyn. Um, yep, that's your name. I haven't quite changed it officially yet.
Yeah, so COVID is really messed up. Changing that.
Another story for another day. Anyway, and I am the creator of Goddess Awakened, Ignite the Power Within, and I'm here with my friend Mythica, who's been a amazing supporter of this movement and has been a past speaker. And she wanted to come on live and help talk about the event essentially today. So it's Sunday, it's Labor Day, but we're here.
Yes, you are.
Entrepreneurs never stop working, right? So, Mythica, I know you said you wanted to come live, so tell us why you wanted to come live today.
You know, this year has been very challenging for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of contraction energy around people with thinking about COVID, and none of that is healthy for us. It's not healthy for our immune systems. It's not healthy for our psychology. There's just so much about the way we're handling this as a society that is collectively and individually detrimental to our spirit, to our mind, to our soul, to our body. And Goddess Awakened is like a little protective bubble for a period of time that allows us to have a mental, emotional, spiritual reset. And I don't think that a lot of people give themselves permission for that. It's like, well, I already had all that stuff off with the COVID time, so now I've really got to push and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, because all the paradigms that we are trying to push with are from an old place that wasn't really serving us to begin with. I mean, most people were going at breakneck speeds and ready to amp up for 2020 when we went into quarantine.
Yep.
And that breakneck speed was not good for most of us. We were part of us was like, oh, I need a break, right? And then after they got that break, they didn't have the tools that they really needed to deal with all the emotions and all the spiritual things that are going on as a result of the pandemic. And I really feel that people need to shift their mindset around investing in themselves. And Goddess Awakened is something that can help them to shift that mindset. Mm-hmm. And the other part of that is that most of us think in a masculine way. Shift our mindset, have a breakthrough, right? We never talk about a heart breakthrough. We think of the heartbreaking as a breakup, right? Heartbreak. So why is it we try to break our minds? And a broken heart is what kills us. And sometimes almost literally, right? So we need to shift it out of a mental breakthrough into heart expansion, right? That's a very different concept. And I don't think it's one that we've really, really thought about.
You're correct. And I think that there's a huge connection to, yes, have it like I think I was at your house when we heard the quote and it from Dean Graciosi that said, you have to have a breakthrough, you have to break something, right?
Yeah.
So it's not your brain you're breaking, it's the paradigm. It's your previous belief system. It's the way you were operating previously. But the truth is the healing part comes out of the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a heart shift.
Right.
And most of us like the idea of mentally changing things, But usually what happens with that most of the time, those really big shifts, is when our heart opens. When our heart opens, it's like the dam that sort of washes away things, and I think that Goddess Awakened is a great opportunity to have the space for that experience to happen, right? It's not something you can force. It's something that you have to allow the space for. And so the way that I see it is that taking the time to do Goddess Awakened and listen to the speakers, and do the exercises and have the rituals. And by rituals, I don't mean like magic rituals. I mean like the ritual of sharing a meal, the ritual of sharing stories and being vulnerable with each other, and finding out that vulnerability is powerful and not a sign of weakness, which is what we've been brought up to believe in our culture.
Right.
So, so that's what I mean when I say like have the space for a ritual, the ritual of sharing who we are, the ritual of taking the time to feel and actually allow whatever's going on to come up to the surface into consciousness, and then face and deal and heal and transform and transmute those things that have been suppressed. Because like that's what pre-COVID was just like, I don't have time for this, I got to set this aside, I got to put my feelings aside, it's go time, right? And this year is not done with us yet. There's still a huge emotional roller coaster that's ahead of us, because I'm going to stay away from this as much as I can, but just to say that we already know that the election is going to be stressful no matter which side of the fence anybody is on, right? That this, something that should normally be something more like the Olympics where we cheer for our own country, that's not what's happening. And so taking the time to do something like Goddess Awakened helps strengthen that unity, which is what we really need.
Yeah.
The more that we can connect with other people and see each other as human, instead of what's called socially is called demonization, right? Those Democrats, those Republicans, like when we use those words, we're demonizing a whole group of people. And we just need to stop doing that. Like, so that requires looking in here, right?
Definitely.
And like I said, I think Goddess Awakened is a time to set aside with that, and also to connect with other women. Some of those women know that they're strong and share that strength, and some of those women don't know that they're strong, but they discover it through going through it.
Right. I mean, I think as a society in itself, and this is something I've been talking about for years, is that women have had to adapt to this ultra masculine way of being. It's how we've had to survive. And we've been talking for a couple weeks now. I have with a lot of people and on lives and whatnot about the transition into 5D energy, which will actually allow the feminine to rise and awaken and be as glorious as she really is. So now I say now is the time that it's really time to start healing the feminine and letting her be all she is, and let like women step into their full capacities. And you're shaking your head in agreement, but I'd like you to expand on that as to why it's so important to heal and express the feminine right now.
Well, that's what I, was previously talking about is that we have a lot of us as a culture have adopted these masculine terms, breakthrough, for example, right? It's a destructive process, right? That is it is masculine to destroy. Like, and creation can also be a destructive process. So the thing is that we've been ultra masculine, and we need to balance it with the feminine, because the true act of creation is both destructive and builds, right? So the other side of just building, building, building and never stopping is what we're also seeing in our culture, right? We just keep building buildings forever, but we're building buildings that don't last. We're not building buildings that will stand there for 1,000 years. That requires a different mental shift. What kind of tribute as a culture would we build like the Roman Colosseum, which has stood for so many years? Like, we don't build buildings like that anymore. Like, buildings that took 50 to 100 years to construct, and to an insane amount of precision, right? Now it's like, build it as fast as we can, and it doesn't matter that we're going to have to tear it down in 50 years. We will have to tear it down.
Yeah.
Because it'll fall apart, and it doesn't matter how much you help it.
Right.
Right? We here in Colorado built our stadium that we currently have, and we did not build it with any more seats. It's the exact same amount of seats. And we just tore down that one and built a new one right next to it. And we will probably do that again.
Yeah.
Because of that thing. So healing with the feminine and bringing that femininity into the present is where we need to balance that, right? Because if we look at the vice presidential candidate that's coming up, right? Harris. Wow. Talk about the divine feminine walking in. She's younger. She's beautiful, strong, powerful, without losing her femininity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's a wonderful example. Same with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? She is a tough old cookie that does not give up. And I love seeing the movie about her, like last year, was just fantastic. And all of these feminine roles are coming up in movies, right? Wonder Woman blew at the box office Batman and Superman out of the water financially.
Yeah.
And so there's this rise of feminine power, that we're finally getting to see. And it's exciting. It's really, really exciting. And they're not being featured as backstory or minor characters, right? Which is allowing our younger generations to have somebody to look up to.
Yes. And for those of you who don't know, Mythica is a huge fan of Marvel, DC Comics, all the things. And I find it so interesting, and I know this is new and a little raw, but it wasn't so, when Chadwick Boseman transitioned earlier, I know, but hold on, this is what I'm getting at, is the call immediately was to transition the story into the feminine. And it was a call from the masses. It wasn't a replace with the masculine. It was a let the feminine show up, which I was like, whoa, that I have goosebumps just talking about it. And Mythica definitely got me more involved when I lived with her for a short amount of time in that realm. But I don't follow it as closely as she does, but I was just amazed. I was like, that is the feminine rising. Like we're seeing it show up in pop culture where we haven't seen in a while. The Cardi B song that just came out, WAP. I posted on Facebook. I was like, "Is this the goddess awakening?" And I truly believe it is. It's there's no men in the video. It's all women, and they're basically owning their sexuality, which is a huge part of stepping into your goddess energy. Huge. Yeah. And it's not like I read something that said sex education is all male based. They don't talk about women's pleasure. They talk about men's pleasure in school. And it's like the misogyny is starting to break down and the feminine's rising within.
Yeah, but within that misogyny is also white misogyny.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. And I'm just pointing out examples of where we're starting to see this. So why, it's so important for us women to step into our power right now. And that's why I've created this retreat.
Yeah.
The title is Goddess Awakened, Ignite the Power Within. So Mythica's been to 2. Tell us a bit about your experiences at them.
Well, this all came out of when you first did that first puja that I went to, right? Mm-hmm. And all of us feeling that sense of closeness at that first event where Goddess Awakened was born, right? Mm-hmm. And as women in our current culture, the only time we sort of get together is for Zumba classes, or wine and painting classes, which are great, right? But they don't allow for a certain amount of depth and connection and strength, which is what we used to do as a culture when we had our red tent time, right? Where when we all cycled together, when we were all a part of nature, and it was all our time, and we all went in the tent and had our bonding and connecting time as a community. And so I really feel like the Goddess Awakened events is not only about each individual awakening, but community forming and awakening in that way, because in between each of these Goddess Awakened events, we've had community online where we've supported each other. Hey, I'm having a rough day. Hey, somebody's having a rough day. Can we send them some love? And then doing that, even though the event's over, so what? We're all there for each other and helping and giving support where needed. And it's that which I find is more long lasting and gives a sense of strength beyond the event that is yay, rah, 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 shish kumbha, we had a great weekend. Okay, everyone go back to their crappy lives. Right? And so with Goddess Awakened, it's, no, you just don't go back to the world as scheduled. There's support for you afterwards with the other people that you formed relationships with. And that's a beautiful part of the event that goes well beyond that. And other people get other tools. They get someone to either coach them, or they're like, wow, I really like that painting thing. I'm going nuts with it now, or, whatever it is, or the body painting that you did for me. That was really eye-opening and changed me, and I really loved it, so it just depends on what each person sort of takes away from the event. But you can't plan whatever that's going to be. That's just the experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the beauty of what we've created here, is that there is a community. Like, you don't just come to the event and leave. You become part of a sisterhood. You become part of the circle, which I'm actually have plans to increase engagement and make that a lot more robust, is the word I want to use, in the coming year. Yes. we also do a goddess Friendsgiving every year too. So like the community is created. So it's a pretty beautiful thing for those. So COVID, of course, has changed everything, and it did change things a little this year.
Yeah.
So normally, in fact, in January, I was very close to putting a deposit down on a retreat center up north, and I just got this. It was light one day, and then like 3 days later, it was like heavy, and I was like, okay, that's not supposed to happen. So found out, 6 weeks later why. So this year we're kind of doing a hybrid thing. Most of it will be virtual. It's just the way to keep everyone safe. Sadly, that's going to create some missing pieces, and that's fine. We will get through it. It won't always be this way. Next year I'm hoping for a big group in a retreat center, please.
Make it to the later part of the year.
Yeah. So, but it will be a little bit hybrid. I have opened up what I'm calling my new place, the Goddess Awakened headquarters. And we will be doing some Saturday events here, live and virtual. So everyone will be able to participate in everything. I just felt that there needed to be, so Saturday night we do a very transformational event. And everyone has told me repeatedly, that is the thing you can't miss. It's the crux of this. And I couldn't figure out how to make it as strong virtually. So that's why I decided to create a space where it'll be here and virtual. So that'll be happening as well. So you won't miss anything. Everything will be recorded. So even if you're like, oh, it's my grandson's birthday that weekend, you can come for part of it and catch the recordings later. So that's the brilliance of it. So my intention is to really help you heal what's ever missing in your feminine. So who's ever hurt you in the past that made you shut down, like, we want to address that. We want to make you feel like you are the worth. I mean, this year's theme is Baby, I'm Worth It. And it's going to be powerful. You'll also walk away with a community of sisters that are there for you whenever you need it. If you need some positive energy, like, they are, boom. If I see something's going on in your life, I'll post it in the group. So-and-so needs this. I won't reveal what's going on. Usually I don't know, but I can energetically sense that you need some extra love. So the group sends it to you. And we will have community activities. I'm actually considering doing a weekly or bi-weekly room to continue the healing process. So, and of course, what's even better now is because we've gone virtual, you can do it from your home. And it can be done anywhere in the world. So you can register at goddessawakenedevents.com, and Mythica has a special code she can tell you about.
Yeah. So if you sign up with me, for those of you who follow me, I do my 333, and so that's sort of my number special. So if you do my code, do we decide on 33?
Yeah, it's $33 off.
It's $33 off, because that's my magical number, baby.
Yeah, so the price is $147, but I think it comes down to $114 after the 333, which is another magical number in itself. So we would love to have you sign up. If you're calling, if this is calling to you, and you're going, oh, it's a rough time. I don't know if I can invest in this. Like, reach out to me, reach out to Mythica. She'll get in touch with you. We'll figure out a way to get you there.
Yeah.
If you're feeling called for this healing, we want you there. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. So, if you feel the call, just message us. It's literally as simple as that. Yeah, it's just as simple as that.
Yeah. So hopefully, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I know Mythica and I are going to go live on her page next. And I will be coming to you live more this week.
Awesome.
I think Jill Bill's coming this week too. Yay.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on here.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful Sunday and a great Labor Day tomorrow.
All right. Bye, guys.